Hello everyone, and welcome to my unit of instruction on gamifying your PowerPoint. My unit consists of an introduction and 3 modules. Throughout my unit, I have several opportunities for discussion, as well as small assignments to assess and give feedback to my learners. My main assessment, however, is in the form of a project that the learners will create at the end. Let's take a bit of a closer look at the contents. My introduction is short and sweet. In my course overview, I explain what the topic is and I outline the learning goals here. And then right after that, I provide an opportunity for the learners to have a discussion and get to know each other. Module 1 is all about gamification and what that is. I feel it's really important for my learners to have at least a basic understanding of all this before actually getting into building games or game elements, because I think that these type of games and activities should be deliberate and purposeful. And I expected my learners would be either teachers or other professionals working in an educational or training capacity, so they'd be familiar with writing lesson objectives or defining the purpose of a lesson. So then just building up the background knowledge of game mechanics and elements will be helpful for them to integrate these components more effectively later. So I start with a very short quiz, and then I get into the actual resources. I'll try to run through this really quickly. It's loading a bit slow tonight, so a very short 3-question quiz where students can get their feedback right away. And then, as I mentioned before, the meat of the lesson here is just connecting students with a lot of external resources that supports and explains what gamification is and why and how it can be effective for educational purposes. I also found these really cool infographics here, and I linked these in the actual module to the original sources so that the students can get it straight from the source. So I love to include these visual elements whenever I can. Next, very quickly, we have a discussion about favorite games and what about it makes that game engaging. I think that's a great way to go on to the next section, which would cover game mechanics and elements. And then the final assignment for Module 1 is for the learners to choose their top 3 favorite elements and what they like about them. Okay. I called Module 2 Exploration because I started the module by having the learners really explore some different games by playing with templates and different examples. So in the first part here, I connected the students with a lot of resources they can play with. And then for the assignment here, I had them write a review for 3 templates, saying what game it is, where it's from, what they like or dislike about it, what the main elements and mechanics of the game are, and how could it be improved. Next is where I get into the technical nitty-gritty how-to parts. Now this could have been a lot longer, so I really had to shorten it down because there are so many common elements, and it really does depend what kind of game you want to use. So what I did is I focused on 2 elements, timers and points, and how to create those in your PowerPoint. So I made one tutorial about 3 different ways to add timers in PowerPoint, one by using ones that are created, or 2 ways to create your own. And then I also made another short tutorial, they're both about 5 minutes long, on how to create an interactive 1-slide scoreboard. Now these are really, really simple, and I recognized that some students will really want or need to go deeper. So what I did here is in the next section, I found some resources on VBA. And VBA is just the programming language Microsoft uses to tell their applications what to do. So you can actually code with VBA in PowerPoint. So I found some pretty good resources and tutorials about how to do that here. And so I just embedded those videos in here of how to do the countdown that way and how to do a scoreboard that way, so the students could have another option of what to do. And then for the assignment for this module, I have students practicing what we're doing. They can create one timer and 1 scoreboard of their own, whichever way they choose to do it. And then they can show off their creation either through posting a file or creating a video. Finally, the last section, Module 3, reviewing and moving forward. So in order to review, I bring in one last huge resource. There is this guy named Chow. He's an expert in gamification, and his website is really good at giving a good explanation of what gamification is and how to use it effectively. And so after reviewing, then I have the students move forward into a series of assignments. The first assignment is going to help them, all of these are going to help them build their project. The first one is a purposeful plan. And so I kind of outline what I want their plan to include. Of course, these students are probably teachers, so I'm not really worried about the formatting as long as they cover the main points. And then after they make their plan, the second part of the assignment is to build. And here I outline exactly what I want in their games. And then I thought what would be really cool was after the students have submitted their assignments, we can have a discussion in which we set up a time and actually play the games together and have a game night. And for this discussion, I'll have the students let me know if they'll be able to make it or not. Write a sentence or description of their game so we can maybe spin a wheel and choose which game we'll play first. If I have a lot of students in the class, I may break it up into different sections or put them in groups and let them play their games together. This way, they can actually get practice running the game in front of an audience, but also interacting and getting feedback from their peers, which I think would be very useful. Okay. And then, for the very, very, very last assignment of this unit of instruction, I have my students, it's taking a long time to load, sorry. I have my students do a reflection, and this is a great opportunity for them to think about what they've learned, how they've applied it, what snags they've run into, and maybe what they're more curious about. And as always, I like to have variety in how my students can submit their assignments. So if they want to just write, they can write. If they want to make a video or an audio recording, that is totally acceptable for me as well. And that is it. I hope that you were able to see well. I know my computer is running quite slow tonight, and the camera is not always working all the time, which is okay. But anyway, thank you so much for taking the time, and I hope you all have a great evening.